All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking required tools to work on BMW and Mini. All right, so BMW Mini tools, part 1. Going to do the more advanced stuff in part 2. This is going to be the stuff that you're going to have when you're doing just even basic stuff on BMW and Minis. Let's get basic. Oil changes. If you're doing oil changes, you're going to need filter cups and filter sockets. Now, filter sockets, you're going to need 24, 32, and 36. Now, in most cases, a regular socket will work. If you have a 32 or 36, they'll work. You don't have to invest in the specific sockets most of the time, but there are some applications where you may need the more special socket. When it comes to the cartridge filters, you got to get the right filter cups. Plastic does not like channel locks. These are AST numbers, by the way, M0219 and V410. You kind of got to have them, so spend a little bit of money. Now you can get other versions of those same sockets besides AST. You can save some money there, but you got to have them. Next up, coolant. You're going to need pressure tester adapters. Now, many companies make these, but again, I'm going to give you the AST number, and you can Google search them, or you can go to the Amazon store and buy them from there. BMW 345, BMW 350, and FZ25. Those are going to be the big coolant adapters you're going to need. BMWs have a lot of coolant leaks. Let's talk sockets. Well, for starters, people always wondered, when do you use 11 millimeter sockets? BMWs. 11 millimeters are used very commonly, so are 9 millimeter on bleeder screws. You're going to need them. Get used to it. Torque sockets, security torques, you're definitely going to need to invest in a T60 because that's what most belt tensioners use, is a T60. You're also going to need 5-point security torques. By the way, this is a VIM tool. Part number is V5PSD. Now, some other tools you're going to need. Now, this is a big one because BMW uses a lot of them. Inverted torques, E-torques. You're going to want to invest in a good set of E-torques, either VIM or Snap-on. They use them a lot. Now, a little tech tip, get yourself a Snap-on E10 chrome swivel for the filter stands. With an extension and the right angle, a lot of them you don't have to take the intake off. Make some hours. Now, next up, spark plugs. Now, if you've worked on BMWs, you know they have a lot of issues with misfires. So you're going to be changing a lot of coils and a lot of plugs. Newer ones, you get to change injectors, but that's another segment. Now, they use, on the older ones, standard 5/8 spark plug socket, you know, your flavor of choice on that one. The newer ones, however, 14 millimeter, 12-point. Now, you got two options. You can go with a standard 12-point spark plug socket like this. This is AST. Part number is SP1412. But I don't recommend this. I recommend the CTA swivel 12-point 14 millimeter. Part number 1061B. The reason I recommend the swivel is later model BMWs that have a much lower service time for their spark plugs. The spark plugs is not a straight shot. when you're coming in, you're actually coming in at a pretty strong angle. The swivel makes it so you don't mess anything up. They're pretty canted in the tube, so the swivel makes it so you can actually get them in and out. So save your money on the standard one, get you the one with a swivel. All right, so if you've worked on BMWs, you know they have oil leaks. And valve covers, filter stands, oil pans. Now when you're doing an oil pan, you have to support the engine support stand that goes above the engine, goes on the fenders and the core support, and you lift the engine up a little bit and then have to drop the subframe down to get the oil pan out. Well, how you pick it up is one of these. Now this is a Bmw Tow Hook. Now, most of them, you can just pull it out of the trunk, lift the engine up out of the eyelet that's already built into the engine. Real simple. The problem is some of them are different threads. There's 2 of these, and if you don't have the right one, you don't have another BMW to steal from, you're kind of SOL. Now the OE part number for this one is 72157070643. This is the most common one used, and this is an actual BMW hook that I bought on Amazon, and great thing to have. That way you don't have to dig through their trunk to get one of these. All right, next up, we're going to talk wheel locks. Now this is a BMW wheel lock kit. Part number is LT4165. I have the Steelman version in the Amazon store, so if you want to pick one up, you can get it there. But part number is LT4165. And this is wheel lock keys. If you work on a lot of BMWs, spend the money and invest in one of these. And don't use impact tools on them, hand tools only. BMW fan clutches and water pumps. You're going to need a holding tool and a 32mm wrench. Now the holding tool is JTC part 1703, and the 32mm is a Craftsman 32mm. You can also use the Lyle air hammer kit as well, but I highly suggest you invest in the holding tool, because a lot of times if the belt is broken, you need the holding tool to get it off. So definitely a good thing to invest in. All right, now we're going to start getting into some of the specialty stuff you're going to have to deal with. When you fill a transmission, you need a filling tool. AST has one. Depending on your needs, they have different kits, so I'm not going to tell you a part number, but if you need one, they've got many options as far as specialty versus complete kit, but you definitely need something to fill the transmission because they're mostly dipstick free. In some applications, you're going to need triple squares. Something to remember. Axle and differential sockets. Now, the 30mm differential socket, it's going to need to be really thin. As you can see, I had to do a customization on that one to use it. Thin wall 30mm socket for the differential bearings to do seals or rebuild the differential. Now next up is wheel bearings. Wheel bearings and CV axles. You're going to need a 32mm 12 point, a 36mm 12 point, and if you want to, a 6 point, but you definitely need a 36mm 12 point, and then a 46mm 6 point if you're working on the older stuff. Some new special tools. If you're, again, working on older stuff, you may need the Vanos socket to replace the Vanos solenoid. Part number, again, AST, Bmw 432. The last one we're going to talk about is stretch bolt tools, and I don't have any tools to to pick up and show because I keep forgetting to buy them. Stretch belt tools, there's 2 of them, and if you don't know what a stretch belt is, there's no tensioner on it. It is literally a stretchy belt. You've got to stretch it onto the pulleys. Part number is Bmw 62. The other one is BMW 124052. Now, the last thing I haven't talked about is service resets. You will need, in a lot of applications, a scan tool to do service resets. A capable BMW scan tool. Now, side little quick note, even for quick check engine diagnosis, you will need a good BMW scan tool. I had a BMW the other day with a handheld OBD2 scan tool, showed no codes. With the real scan tool, I had enhanced codes, hexadecimal codes, that do not have a crossover to the SAE P codes. So you need a good scan tool when you're working on BMW. In part 2, we'll get into more ISTA, ICOM, stuff like that. Autel launch are really good on BMW, so those are the options I would suggest if you're going to be working on BMW. Best option obviously would be ISTA P with an ICOM, but not always possible. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see part 2, subscribe. Make sure and hit that bell notification so you get notified when I put out new videos. If you didn't like the video, maybe you don't like making money on BMWs, give me a thumbs down. Comments are always appreciated. And if I forgot something, put it in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.